Hi guys, I'll just wait for a few people to connect. When we do the live, we don't tend to get notifications. So anyone who, I'll put a notification up in the community tab, and then you guys should have a heads up that something is being uploaded. I did used to actually have one where if I was going live, I would do a preliminary video to give you guys an update that I'm going live. Now, the reason I'm coming to you to give you an update, some of you in America will be asleep already. Those of you in Australia, New Zealand, etc., hello. Now, there's been a lot going on the background. Now, the channel update I need to give you, I put in the community tab a notification basically stating, hi Dale, that I'm wanting to collaborate with other people. Now, I don't want anyone to get that information twisted, nor am I phased about the growth of the channel. If anything, I turned the number off because I wish to focus on the energies. Now, us as channelers, okay, and not so much the YouTube channel, but being spiritual beings, we go through natural processes. So as we evolve, we evolve ahead of time with certain things, and then that information is a resource for us to actually assist with the collective. Now, some of these plans that I had were in 2017, 2018. A lot of us went through the Dark Night of the Soul, spiritual awakening, and some of those plans to a degree were being moved towards. When you are navigating a channel, there are so many things that you actually have to deal with in the background. There's the navigation of the website. There's the maintaining emails. There are the energy that we push into the actual readings for our clientele. There's also the energy when we're having downloads and we're going through purging. We need to manage that. And we do take accountability, but you also need to understand we, like you, are going through shifts vibrationally with that energy. So one thing I do put on is if I need to reschedule due to the fact I'm sick, it's because I want to come to you guys in my highest vibration. Now, another area that is changing, and the reason why I'm choosing to collaborate is because when you do look at the astrology and you do understand how we're all evolving, 2020 is going to be super important for us to gain broad perspective, okay? Being a psychic medium and a channel where I do readings, there's also other areas where we can gain clarity from, and I find that my deepest conversations, sometimes I hold such regret with other channels that I talk to, obviously because we go through transitional states. When we're bouncing off each other and talking about the energy and trying to understand the frequency that's going on, there is a great deal of healing that goes on behind the scenes. So you may not see the processes we go through prior to bringing the energy to you. And at times when the aspects of the astrology are making quite nasty aspects, we tend to feel that energy the month before, and we're really in it. Not only are we in it and providing the readings, but we're also getting to a point where we're trying to heal ourselves as well and come correct so we can bring you the relevant information. Now, the collaboration as per se, it doesn't have to be a channel. It can be you as a person and something you energetically have learned where you wish to share and bounce off another person. So, you know, the collaboration is more a conversational piece. It might be a perspective of, you know, something you've experienced. It could be something you're really good at, or a separate spiritual gift, or just talking about the current energy. So it's not that it's anything as per se, because a person that has been a long time subscriber, I wouldn't like to say accused. I'll be very cautious in the way I say it. The assessment was it was becoming commercialized, this channel. Now, I have no intention to make this a commercialized channel. Not showing the subs isn't due to the fact that I want to show how the channel's going. The reality is, if you get any negative feedback, and I have actually reached out to a different channel who has gone through a similar situation as me, that with the algorithms of YouTube, you get to a point, you shift away from the actual process of just the art of what we do. and then you're made, we've had to shift quite a few times. So the natural ebb and flow of the channel where you guys were getting your notifications, that energy shifted. YouTube is evolving, and so too, unfortunately, are we having to, both at a spiritual level and at a YouTube level, okay? So for us energetically, if it looks like we're being commercialized, a lot of things where we're having to deal with the analytics of the channel. Now, when the information comes through and you're wanting to get that information out, your comments do count. Now, if there's no channel, you're not going to get your video. That's the reality. So when we put our blood, sweat and tears into these videos, if you feel, whatever channel that is, it's worth it and there's something relevant or a question, every comment counts. Every thumbs up counts. Now, it can be something as simple as a person who's got a bee in their bonnet and they wish to make a comment about your channel. Now, this particular person, and I'm not going to name names, had a subscriber that had that issue. Now, they deemed the channel as a cult, and it has caused huge issues for their analytics. And we, you know, some of us don't even have the idea of what has happened with our channels. But when you're used to having 1,000, 10,000, 16,000 views on a video, and suddenly you're doing everything the same as you were before, but you're getting 400 views, you know something's up with the algorithm. Now, it's not the content, okay? Energetically, I'm shifting into the astrological area, but it's not what this whole channel is going to be about. The reason I hone in on that energy is because I noticed a synchronistic pattern. Both with, and what I really want to start working on is helping people develop their intuitive energy, their psychic gifts, working on their spirituality. And spirituality can have, for some people, a stigma attached to it. It's your truth and what you're vibing with, okay? Your tribe energy. So, you know, whatever that is, another thing I did notice with this person that I'm going to collaborate with, a statement was made, and the statement was a lot of their clientele is female. And this has really been coming up for me quite a bit lately. And you know, we as humans, we all need to collaborate. We need to work together as a team. So to me, we all need each other, okay? So having YouTube is a beautiful way that we can actually share and experience a truth of something we're physically going through. And we all want someone who we can directly relate to. So while we're going through those transits, and especially in 2018, I spent a good 10 months really working on myself spiritually. And they say when your third eye is activated in your crown, you get into this innate state of being where you are enlightened and very calm. And Lysiana and I were talking about this earlier, and I do wish to collaborate with her. She has beautiful gifts. You know, hopefully I will be using one of her tarot decks that she has created. She clears homes, she does Reiki, she does a lot of work. And, you know, when we work with other people, it enlightens us as humans and it takes us to that next level. So I did experience a very difficult time with my breakup, but it also brought me home to myself and I found great peace. But a lot of what you guys don't understand, and I do want to make a video based on this, a lot of our education is coming from our conditioning and childhood wounds, but the energies coming through with the astrology are affecting our vibration and moving between now and, you know, into the Pisces moon. A lot of us can have very distorted thoughts and we can get a little bit aggressive. So we need to be very mindful to not judge a book by its cover, because that's really going to come through for all of us collectively. A lot of us at the moment also are coming to a place where we don't know what to believe. You know, is this true anymore? And, you know, those of you that aren't twin flames, it doesn't mean this energy is not going to be relevant to you. If you don't subscribe to it, you don't have to listen to it. And I try to cover every area because my intent for this channel and who I am is to support, understand, share the downloads that I physically have, and give you the tools so you don't need me. okay? Because to understand, we don't feel alone, but ultimately it's us who has to do the work, and that can be a very frightening energy to go through. For me, spiritually, from when I was a child, my psychic development was very done alone, so to speak, and it was during a time where it was completely taboo. And still, really, there is that dynamic where it's taboo, but moving into 2020, there will be a mass need, especially when you look at the astrology, of different ways of being, and a need to look outside of basic medicine. And that's written, through looking back in history. Astrology is great if you have the understanding and the comprehension that with certain aspects, you have to look back at previous aspects that occurred to see a commonality. So, like the Leo King said, you need to theoretically be a historian or be interested in the history of what happens. Some of the things that are coming, we have never experienced in our life. But a lot of the theory out there is very much that we are moving into an enlightened state. And what with the astrology and the energy all of a sudden getting very angry, getting very tired, these are frequencies that are caused a bit like, you look at the moon, our ego tells us one thing, and that's, sometimes we're getting blocked at the moment. But with the ebbs and flows of the moon, we know it directly affects the ocean. The astrology is the same. So when you are going through a transformative state and you're wondering where these energies are coming from, it's very helpful to look at the astrology so that you don't think you're going batshit crazy. And when you're seeing the houses that are affected at a very general level, it can help you understand potentially what could be coming. The more into your spirituality you get, you'll find you'll receive those energies before those transits have occurred. You'll already be living those. So the reason I bring the astrology into the equation is because it's what helped me through my growth process in 2018. Now, the things that I'm trying to balance at the moment, there is karmic frequency. Now, a subject matter that I was bouncing off with my beautiful Sula, I absolutely love talking to her. She's very spiritual. A lot of times the things in which I preach is what I do. So when you find yourself energetically tuning into another energy, and it has been hard not to, especially with retrogrades, past tense scenarios, depending on the houses that are coming up for you, they're going to come up, okay? When you're tuning into them, when you're used to being a certain vibration, one cannot know when you're entertaining a relationship what is going to come. Yes, from a psychic perspective, okay, but separately. So vibrationally, at a moment when you physically make a decision, you're looking at the 3D where it stood. And this came up with my daughter the other day. It was an interesting kind of notion we were working through. When we're regretting missing a person, but we can't comprehend it, and we're going through that 7 stages of healing. You're going through an egoic state, so you're purging it, you're processing it, you're trying to understand it. The thing that makes it incomprehensible is because the one point that you're reflecting back to is that positive time, okay, at a point in the healing process. Now, certain people I've been dealing with have been honing in on that, but then feeling quite disorientated by how is that even a potentiality. Other people have only been focusing on the negative and not the positive, but what you're physically getting out of it. And then when you are healed, you're open, you're prepared, theoretically. So in January, when TF communicated with me, you check the vibration, okay? Now, a lot of what is going on with DMs at the moment, and masculines collectively, is they're going through a change, but they're falling through the cracks. And, I was trying to navigate a way into how we could actually make it more a friendly place, because the one thing collectively, women are open to having that healing. Men, however, do theirs very differently. But if there's, this one channel was mentioning the fact that predominantly their clientele was female, which is true. Predominantly, yes. And we do have some masculines that hold feminine energy, or they're empathic. empaths and they have spiritual gifts. So obviously they're going to be more open to that. They've accepted that. That's part of their being. Moving through this year, it has been hard for men, okay? They have been internalizing things. These energies, however, are really pushing these frequencies out where they need to express. But unless we can come to a mentality where it's not a judgment and we are understanding and we are not in attack mode, it's going to make it very difficult for masculine energies collectively to feel that this is a nurturing, comforting environment in the world. And I'm not even talking about my bloody channel. I'm talking about in general. And Tesla mentioned this as well. So we do really need to brainwave and look at things from other perspectives so that we can make communication effectively and try and find that wavelength to bridge that gap. It doesn't have to, spirituality doesn't have to look a certain way, and it's not one energy that's healing. And a lot of times when two parties come together, we have childhood wounds, and we're conditioned to believe if somebody doesn't do something in a certain way, it means they don't care. But we've all had our own childhood conditioning. So it's not to say that when people betray each other, it's right or wrong. There's both polarities, but it's getting to the root cause of it so that moving forward, we're not recreating these cycles because we need to bridge that gap. So for me personally, very separately to this subject matter, yes, I have been unwell for a few weeks. I also have been dealing with karmic frequency. You know, when you are entertaining another energy, you don't know what is going to come. So in balancing that frequency, which is a video I'm going to be doing, because a lot of you say, when can you and can't you entertain TF? The interesting thing is there's always a reason why it occurs. There's a lesson in it. There's a reason why these things happen, and you do the best you can. Now, for me, I have been training myself to reshift the energy back onto myself. But the frequency and the karmic frequency, not surrounding TF, but surrounding karmic and other energies, have been quite problematic. So there are situations in the background occurring that are being balanced. So obviously, because I've been unwell, and I've had ascension symptoms, plus with the retrograde, I've noticed things that I wish to change because I'm shifting the energy back onto myself. These are huge balancing acts. You also need to protect the sanctuary of the person's privacy. So when you're asking me, would I put TF on here? Who he is very private, but this is where masculines are at. They're opening up, but they're also very private, and I do have to respect that. He respects myself as an energy, as a psychic, as a healer, and for what I do. But at the same time, his process he's undergoing is tying up karmic frequencies. So it has been interesting to watch, needless to say, but I will be doing a video based on that. Are there any questions for those of you who are here? And feel free after the fact. I had, who is the channel that I am asking? Yeah, it has been really hard, and it concerns me because I'm trying to figure out a way in which we can bridge that gap, because, you know, we don't want to be this feminine revolution where, yes, we're healing, but closure and peace always comes from us. You know, we are look at us as Mother Nature. You know, do we want to be Black Moon Lilith, let's destroy? And that's not really true, because we have both energies. You know, we have the aspect of Black Moon Lilith, and we have the divine feminine. As women, we're nurturers. Not all of us are, though, and that's not right or wrong. You need these polarities and these differences in life to see the light from the dark. But we also do need to get to a point where we can find ways to actually make this community. where we can actually bridge the gap between other energies and network to get to a point where we can see more male energies there, because we have things to learn from them. And if we're in our ego and we're only feeling we are the righteous way, we're missing the point. Okay? So a lot that has been unspoken, the way in which they're processing is previous, its previous belief systems. It's a different language, so to speak. So it's actions and words don't always match. Okay, so what's going on inside? If a person chooses not to share, it's because they haven't found peace with it yet. Okay. I'm not in contact with twin but dreams, and yeah. And I mean, and look, some people will find this channel for them, and you will reach spiritual points in your journey. You may subscribe to a particular channel, and that's okay. It's not right, it's not wrong. And suddenly you may feel that person no longer resonates with you because you might be going through a different transition, and that's okay too. So it's not you have to stay. It's normal, but we can't expect other people to change for us. We choose to change for ourselves. And that's the same in a TF journey, a soulmate journey. We can learn from other people, be it we are or we're not. And it depends on your perspective, okay, and where you are spiritually. So I'm not asking you to change your opinion. I wanted to come to you guys and give you an update. I know I'd love to work with Lysiana, Jen, Intuitive Perceptions. There was, I've forgotten the gentleman's channel. And I'll put a list of the people that are coming. The thing that I found when I was healing, and this is the most interesting thing that I found, and that's another thing that came up. I was really tuning into it, and I thought, wow, when I was in hell, there was a lot of people around. That's very interesting. And I was looking at the human psyche, and I thought, now that I'm in union, why are people not motivated? Now, it's not to say I'm in a bed of bloody roses, I'll tell you that. I'm doing the work. You'd have no idea. But it's very unique because there are some channels on YouTube that do have TFs in union, and they're motivational. You know, there's two that I watch, and I won't name names. I can't remember their channel name now. And you can see the masculine frequency in the connection is very triggered at the moment, but really opening up. The point I'm trying to make is, sometimes do we not want people to succeed, or sometimes do we feel it's not real or that it can't be attained? Again, it's a blockage inside ourselves. We can achieve anything. If we very separately don't even look at TF journey, but we actually look at the laws of attraction, and I know in any point in my life when I've wanted something and I've believed it, I'm like, I know it's going to happen, it happens. But when I'm fearing it, it also happens. So even very separately, you don't want to put the label, cut the label. What you believe you manifest, you attract that. If you have no, we need to have hopes and dreams. And it's not a hope and dream. If you're picking up on a person's vibration, you intuitively are receiving that download. You're psychic. So it's just finding peace with that and accepting that without having to explain to anyone, because you don't have to explain yourself. It won't make sense to other people. And if it doesn't, they're going to leave, and that's okay. But it's not their life to live, it's yours to live. So each day, the only thing you can do is, the most peaceful place you can ever be is to come home to yourself. So it's not the end goal, trust me. You will get to a heavy ascension state where you have carried so much baggage in your life that you will do the healing. It will become absolutely necessary to balance the frequency so you don't feel psychically attacked. So the reason I incorporated the astrology was for me to comprehend and hone in on when those trigger days were going to be, because the energy was very heavy. And yes, I'd get my mass downloads. Any questions? But it's interesting because, you know, if anything, it should motivate you. I mean, yes, not one of our journeys is the same. So it can trigger you and it can motivate you, but it depends on the channel you want to pick. And I don't mean YouTube channel. I mean, in general, your mindset. I just find it very unique that while I was purging, the channel was very busy, and I don't really care about the subscribers. In a sense, you guys as subscribers, yes. Number, no, I don't look at the number. I'm not fussed by it. That's an egoic experience. It doesn't affect me. If the channel's here, it's part of my spiritual process, and I'll do all I can. If it's not here, it's to be. I accept that. It's the laws of Mother Nature. But I do feel it is something in a notion of our belief, and we're getting a bit afraid. Is it possible? Can it be? Yes, it can, but a lot of the end point of TF journey is very, very much going, what could possibly go wrong if I'm happy? What could possibly go wrong if I love my life being alone and not needing to hide behind a label or... And, I had to work through a bloody lot of triggers. And it was really interesting to get to a place where I was like, oh my gosh, boring is even good for me. Green food is good for me. People would go, aren't you bored? My daughter would call me and say, aren't you bored? I said, I'm in absolute sheer peace and serenity. My creativity was on fire. I was utilizing the energy on myself. I was gaining peace connected to my past in my whole life. And just being in it every day and every moment. But, when you then connect in with your trigger points and your healing points, the one point you will find is if you move into them, you are freeing yourself. And when you free yourself and you have no expectation as to, is it going to be? Isn't it going to be? You can't then accept anything below the benchmark of, you know who you are, you love yourself, you do the very best you can. If they're happy, you're happy for them. If they're sad, you then have faith that, like yourself, having risen like the phoenix, they too can do such, because we are not God. People's healing comes down to them, and if they have the power to, okay? Because sometimes those blocks are very, very deep, and, it's to the level where even a channel, can't move that, and we have to have compassion for those people, even the lower frequency. Yeah. Well, it's a blessing to be bored, but you'd only appreciate that, and that's what I mean. You have to live something to actually comprehend it. That when you physically do have that, you're like, wow, I've been paying so much attention to other people, places, and things that I wasn't even looking at my own shit. And then you're like, oh, you dig deep, you clean it up, and then suddenly you're like, my house is clean. I love my garden. I was drinking so much green tea. Look, I don't have to drink. I can drink, but I don't have to drink. I prefer vegetarian. I'm reintegrating that back into my life because it's who my vibration is. Not because I can't eat meat. I can. But I also don't feel the need to. I don't, I love animals. And I worked on a farm and I did not like it. The work, no drama. The sadness for the animals, no, I didn't. But do I judge another person about it? No, I don't. Because it's not for me to judge. Any questions? With my foofy hair. I do have Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces to do. And I'm trying to get these videos done because my foundation behind the scenes is changing. There are some things that I'm trying to readjust to free more of my time up. Another area that I have kept quite hidden is that I do have a very unwell father, okay? So my mother lately has been unwell, but my father has been unwell for 3 years. Transitions as well in connections. The fact that TF does have 5 children. There has been a lot for me to juggle, okay? So it's temporary because some of these situations we have already found solutions where it's going to alleviate the stress for me, okay? And I'm doing my best. If I'm sick, I'm sorry, I can't be here. I'm a human being. Would you rather me turn up dead? Let's just do the best, right? Also, if you're making a booking video, I do videos, okay? The videos are not Skype. I have Skype bookings as well. I have telephone bookings and I have email bookings. They're all different prices. If I'm sick and I can't make it, it states it in the clause, I will have to reschedule you. Okay, so it does ask if you have an alternate day, you can actually put that in. I'm a very generous person that even if you muck up, I'll reshuffle it. It does state if you're picking it, you're accepting that term and there is not a refund due to the fact that I'm sick. Okay, so when you're asking me for it and you're getting angry at me, the contract states those terms. Now, I won't apologize for being sick, and I do get quite cross when we do have people that I've been working with as family getting cross. Yes, the astrology is making us cross, but let's just be reasonable. If I'm sick and I'm dying, I'm not trying to avoid you. I'm dying, okay? Now, if you do make a muck up with a booking, don't stress, just inbox me. I will reschedule the date or connect it. So you might turn around and say, I need a bit, no, I now need a Skype. That's fine, okay? Just inbox me. But the thing is with the video, it has a time frame on it because I do all of my live sessions in the morning due to other things occurring around me. And then with the videos, I record them in the evening or when the coast is clear because I really want to anchor my energy in and tune into that. And sometimes you guys send me absolute nothing, love. And it's like, no drama. I can tune into your energy simply by one statement. But I do find it amusing, especially when the clarification comes back, oh my gosh, you hit the nail on the head and there were these other dynamics going on. If you're wanting the readings to be done differently, and this is on YouTube, feel free to inbox me if you have a suggestion. I generally pick a term and a way of doing things. At the moment, I am tuning into October as well. I was already looking at both energies. Then I can start moving into a spare where I can do more. Intent is for Vimeo for extension reads, but I just want to also do romance reads. Now, some of you might prefer the format where I did work, family, career, and love. State so, that's fine. I can shift it to that. If you guys have a preference as to the style of videos you'd like, I'm all for that. If there's other things you want me to cover, the spiritual tools were things that I've been wanting to get onto for a long time. And that's more as a resource. When we're stuck with something, we can go back to it. It's not commercialization. Although you must understand videos and zodiac signs date on YouTube. So theoretically, from a spiritual point of view, no, they don't, but they don't regenerate views around YouTube. And if you don't have views, your channel dies. If your channel dies, Yildiz readings is not here. So although you could look at that as commercialization, it's also the notion that it's our responsibility to make sure that we're creating content that if there is a person that's going through an awakening or stuck in an area, if they feel that this tribe or this subject matter that I cover can assist them, I'm finding those people, okay? So there's reasons why I'm doing the things I'm doing, but it's a bloody lot of work when you're doing 12 zodiac signs that are half an hour. You've got the upload process, you've got the editing process, you have your clients during the day, and you're then doing information videos, and you're being called to do the TF update. Okay, so you need to understand I'm one person. Website, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm it. I just need you to understand I'm it. I don't have a receptionist. I wish I bloody did. You know, and I even understand other channels that have gone boom. I'm lucky that I spent 4 weeks building my own website. I didn't even know how to build a website. Thank you, Lord, for taking me there. I learned how to build a website. I could sell them now. Another thing that I wanted to do, which I've noticed, is there's no one out there to help us with our channels that are spiritual people, that are running spiritual channels. And it is a subject matter that behind the scene we sit there and we go, bloody hell, are we on the right track? Have we missed something? Is it the analytics? Is my content acceptable enough? And look, I turn up with my foofy hair because I'm beyond ego. It's like Good, bad, ugly, you're going to get it, okay? But at the same time, there are other people who may be further back where I was, and it doesn't matter how big my channel is. I can directly relate to them, and I want to support them because I know how bloody hard it is. It takes a lot of balls to get up here each day and be very open. On top of actually opening up and then going behind the scenes, oh my God, what's going on? I've got 12 videos to do. Am I going to get them done on time? Meanwhile, you think you're letting your tribe down? I've moved a bit beyond that, clearly. Any questions? No questions? Any questions after? Put them down. I can do another video. We can do another live and we'll have a chit chat. But subscribers, especially my clients, if you want to be part of the interview process and you want to talk about a subject matter, it's good to see other people's perspectives and it helps us feel we're not going crazy. So we could talk about how to heal, you know, what stage we're at in healing and you know, how they did their process, how we did our process. It could be Reiki, it could be chakra, it could be psychic abilities and the growth of that and what their perspective is, crystals. Anything to that degree of a subject matter. You could just in general have a question and want to talk to me. That's fine. And I'm happy to grab someone from the audience, chuck my number out there. And while I'm live, I am happy to take calls. So if those are things you're interested in, they're what's coming. You'll still get your zodiac signs though, providing penny little the bloody world doesn't fall down. But also during November and December, it is the quietest time for all channels on YouTube. So, you know, we tend to put specials out, but it also keeps us afloat. This is our main income. So if we can't stay afloat, it makes it hard for us to return. Especially since this is my Monday to Sunday job. So where you guys do donate, I highly appreciate it. The expenses surrounding running a YouTube, especially when you don't get anything like monetization or things to that degree due to the changes that YouTube are going through, which I understand the process. Look at the processes I'm going through, so no judgment there. You've got your cameras, you've got your tarot cards, you've got your own bills because you're living, and it's not that you guys are obliged to do that. That's a reality of life, okay? So I always spiritually trust in the process, but I honestly will tell you, just November and December are the coldest months for readers. So if you have a favorite reader and you choose to book around that time or donate or at least comment, share, thumbs up, it helps that channel, okay? Otherwise, in the dust will be gone. I'll be back. Love and light.